Again, Professional Earl, Big Earl. If you forget what I'm about to say, or if I get short, you might have to look at it again. Follow my next video. You know, I want to talk about a lot of different things, and sometimes I get caught up in certain things that touch the old heart deeply. For example, relationships. You know, every person have a relationship with someone, either friend, brother, sister, mother, father, whatever. Personally, I never knew my father. But that's another story that stopped me to being the man who I am today. Of course, I have 6 brothers and 3 sisters, and we don't always talk together, but we do relate, and we can talk. That's the best thing. You can talk. Whether we talk or not, we can talk. You see, when you start dissing your friends, you can leave them alone because they're not blood lady. But when you start dissing your brothers and sisters, if you have a lot of them, which I do, then that's a different story. But when you got one, you only got one sister or one brother, it's time to make amends, because you never know when you're going to see that brother again or that sister. You never know what that sister is going to go through. You never know if they're sick, laying down, or whatever. You can believe one thing. If you two was raised together, you have the same entity, you have the same belief, you have the same parents is going to be right beside you. You have the same everything because you grew up together. You know each other. Even small children, the parents jump in front and say, "Take care of them. Do what's right. Don't hit your brother. Don't hit your sister. Or why y'all arguing? Why you fussing?" Well, when you get grown, you don't. Those things never occur, but it's deeper in the parents' heart. You know, you can't take sides on the mother or the father. My sister doing this or my brother doing that, because once again, we both love both of you, and it'd be very wrong that you take sides. So, grievance. You grieve your parents a lot. You make them wonder, like, wow, is this ever going to change? Will the hurt and the wounds ever grow softly, or will they ever heal? The other thing is, you know, when a person been adopted, that's a very important word, adoption, because the parents take time, whether they have the or not, and say, "I want that child," or "I won't give that child my name. I'm going to raise that child." So regardless of how many other brothers and sisters may come along, or if you had them at the time, doesn't matter. That adopted child is the same child with the one that was never left. You were never part of somebody else. You became a part of the family, and therefore the person who did it love you. Just that simple. It's no other means. The person that did it took your name, raised you, love you. And if you got any other siblings, it's the same. If you can remember that, you will be blessed more than 3,000 times over. The person that had you, the person who does guard you, the person by your side, is the person that still loves you and still claims you. Not the person who never claimed you, never did anything for you, never wanted you, never thought about you. No. It's the one who stood by you. If you can remember that, you'll be great. So now that I got that out of my hair, the other things that I do mention is, like I said, relationships and people doing their own thing. And a lot of times we do our own things and we forget who put us in charge of ourselves. You put yourself in charge of yourself. Okay? Nobody can control you. The only person who's going to worry about you is you. You have people say they're going to write you a letter. Well, they might. You have people say that they were concerned about you. But to control you and to get an understanding about you, it's you. We run in a world where it's not the name, it's the money. Money can buy a lot of things, but money doesn't buy you happiness as they think it is. If that was the case, the people that's dead and gone now would still be alive because they'd be happy because they had money. Okay? So we find ourselves in a catch-22. In other words, am I going to do right or am I going to do wrong? Every now and then you're going to do something that you thought that you should have done. It's going to happen. You know why? Because you're a human being, not an animal, not a stick on the wall, but a human being. And human beings, we make mistakes. As parents, we make mistakes. Oh, really? Yeah. We make mistakes because we're parents, because that makes us human. If it wasn't human, we'd be like a robot and nothing would be wrong. But then guess what? We'd blow away because somebody done put something in us to make us that robot to say, do this, do that. And then we wouldn't be no good to nobody again. So, reality checks is everybody wants something. And you have to dig down deep what you want and what you believe in, because everybody doesn't believe the same thing. I want you to remember this. If you don't remember anything else I said today, trying to love each other and love yourself to the death, remember the religion that you join, because there's a lot of them out there. You better make sure damn that the other person joins it as well, because you're going to have problems. Because when are you going to do this and when are you going to do that? When are you going to wear this dress? When are you going to do this hat? When are you going to be going on Wednesday? When are you going to be going on Sunday? When are you going to be bowing to the moon, to the sun? So if you got that problem, it's best to leave it alone. And remember this also, as a child and a parent, well, the child is a child and the parent is a parent, and the parent had the child. There's no other way. The child didn't have the parent had the child. So most of the time, 99.1, the parent knows what's best for the child. If I raised you for 20 years, that means I know exactly what you've been doing for 20 years. And see what happens. Let me make sure you understand. This is what happens. We'll find ourselves infatuated, in love, so-called, imaginated, dreamy eyes, thinking that we're totally in love with someone else. It's all good and dandy, but how can you be in love with somebody that you only known for 6 months, or you known 6 days, or a year? Yet I've known you for 20, and yet you take me and put me under a trash can and say you don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, that's not the way it goes, because if I'd known you for 20 years, that means I know every step you're going to make, and I know every mistake you're going to make. And the person that you fall in love with do not know that. It takes time. Okay? I sit here and stand before you today and say my wife will be 38 anniversary years. And all of them was not punky-tory glory, but 38 years. So I can tell you, we both kind of like know each other. Not every way, but we know a lot. And there's a lot we know, a lot we can give to people who don't know. So that's what happened when you run into someone, you said, well, I thought I was in love. I thought I knew her. Yeah, that's what happens. Because you can be with somebody 38 years and still not know them. Okay? You can be with somebody 10 years and not know them. But then you be with somebody for quite of a day and get a good feeling and say, oh, we're compatible. You're compatible because you think the same way. And you're asking the same question. But you're not doing the same walk, because you're not in the same shoes. That does not make you totally compatible. It may make you compatible for the time being, or for the assumption that you being with them for that time, but it does not make you compatible. Okay? So we as people need to remember, family is very close, whether bad, good, or evil. But when you go against your family and use somebody else's family, that's a whole different ballgame. Now you're making a mistake until you figure it out. My father-in-law dead and gone, okay? But my father-in-law treated me like a son that he never knew, okay? Because his son didn't run off, and that's another story. And he had 2 daughters. But he taught me the best that he could. He did the best for me that he could. And he was old enough to understand the way things was going. He was old enough to go and learn a different language, even if he was in his own time. Okay? Now, when I say on the time, that means he was German and I was American. He would have loved to had a German son-in-law, but he didn't. Okay, so he fell in love with the son-in-law he had, and a lot of times we don't even do that. We want to go with somebody else's family, but we don't find out what the family about. So, guess what? Never turn your family down unless you totally said, "You're out of my life," and that should never be as long as you blood. You should be able to talk and get an understanding. Because if you get an understanding with a person that you go to the store for and say, "Oh, excuse me, you lost $1," you definitely should be able to get along with a sister or brother that you just had a foul mistake. Keep this in mind as well. Time's running out on me. This video. You need to have an understanding. If you don't, you won't know your kin folks. And that's what happened to a lot of my family. They don't know the kin folks because they had a mistake. They didn't take time to talk to them. So they got older. And now they're too old, they moved. They can't go nowhere. And so that's why the ancestors on top of ancestors got children running around. You know them and you don't know them. Okay, so when you have one of them foul places where you say, "I'm not going to talk to them about 2 years or 3 years or 6 months," then you just throw your whole life away. And your whole life has a very important, you are a very important person. Okay? Say it to yourself, you are a very important person. And if you get to know yourself, you get to know other people. And your family will get to know you as well. And even though they don't come see you, you still will know them. There's people every day you walk around and say, "Man, that look like my family," but I don't know if it's my family or not. Because you didn't talk to them. Or you didn't spend time to find out what they're about. Okay? My mom is a prime example. Have a lot of family, but we don't know them. So that means there's ancestors and children that we will never know. And that's a sad day. So you take time to know who you are. Take time to feel who your friends are. Take time to know your ancestors, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, whether they ever see you or not. At least you know them. That's what plays a point. Because one day they may walk up to you and say, "I'm your cousin. I'm your uncle. I'm your aunt. I'm your cousin on the other side." But if you fail to realize it and fail to ask questions, you will find yourself lonely, sad and lonely. All right? So with that notion, once again, remember, get to know your family well before you turn yourself into somebody else's family, before you take up somebody else's family for your own family. Learn to know your family if you can. If they talk and walk, you can talk to them. If they're dead and gone, that's in the past. However, they may come back to you in a sleep and tell you, "Hey, I missed you," or "What are you up to?" I don't know. That's the test and the chance that you're going to have to take, getting to know who you really are. Sayonara.